Welcome back to the station, good people. This is Destination Devi. I am the captain of this here thing that we do, Ray G. You can find me on Twitter at RayGQ, and this is the 2021 NFL Draft Rookie Profile Series, where we take a look at some of these top incoming NFL assets, talk about their game from high school, college, and what I feel their projection is at the next level. We have already covered UNC's running back Javonte Williams, the dangerous and talented Kyle Pitts out of Florida, as well as the explosive running back out of Clemson, Travis Etienne. And in this show today, we're going to talk about a player who arguably, when you're looking at explosion and juice and speed and I'm just going to get it out of the way now, the Tyreek Hill type impact, that kind of juice, there may not be a player with more juice and explosion at the wide receiver position in this 2021 NFL draft class than Alabama's junior wide receiver who has declared for the draft, Jaylen Waddle, one of the players that I talked about early in the NFL draft season being a potential wide receiver one candidate, and he was most definitely on that trajectory as the start of the 2020 season kicked off, suffered an injury. We'll get into that and how that's going to affect his outlook, but Jaylen Waddle, a dangerous player, a dual threat type player, the wide receiver that's going to give you value on special teams as well, and I'll tell you what I think about him at the next level in that regard as well. But I was informed by my business partner Jordan that I have failed to introduce Gus Johnson for like the past 20 shows. We've got an intro. Gus Johnson is the man, so damn it, drop that thing, Jay.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
All right, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button. That way, every time we drop content on Destination Devi, it's right there on your phone. You get it, no questions, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to search for it. You come to the spot to talk NFL rookies. So, Jaylen Waddle, who is he? Who is this player, this explosive, dynamic weapon that I'm talking about? Well, coming out of high school, he was a highly touted kid coming out of one of my home cities that I like to call Houston, Texas, right? He's a 4-star recruit, the 5th ranked wide receiver in the 2018 class, and he was a top 40 overall player in that class. So the high school pedigree is there. Jaylen Waddle, one of the top wide receivers in the country in 2018, as well as one of the top players in the country at 2018. Coming out, he's like 5'9", 175 pounds. Alabama has him listed at 5'10", 182 pounds. And when you look at what he was able to do his freshman season at Alabama as a true freshman in 15 games, 45 receptions, 848 yards, averaging 18.8 yards of reception with 7 touchdowns. Phenomenal, right? When you're talking about an Alabama team that had Devonta Smith, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, Najee Harris, Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs, Irv Smith, the tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, that's a lot of target competition for a true freshman to compete with. And not only did he compete, he excelled and exceeded and was an integral weapon on that 2018 team that did end up going to the national championship game. So Jaylen Waddle, right out of high school as a young freshman, this dude was already making plays. And when you watch some of the clips, right, I'm not going to bury the lead. It's speed, it's explosiveness, it's his agility, his ability to get to top end speed from 0 to 60 like that. We talked about Travis Etienne and his ability to go from 0 to 60. Jaylen Waddle at the wide receiver position, there's nobody, and I love Rondale Moore. I'm very excited about what Kadarius Toney could bring to the table. You've got some other guys like Jalen Darden out of UNT, some of those kind of speed guys, but when you're talking about the top level wide receiver prospects in this class, no wide receiver goes from 0 to 60 like Jaylen Waddle. The speed, the acceleration, it's there, and there's actually a tweet and a video of him racing against Henry Ruggs. It's kind of hard to see, right? Like the Isaiah Simmons, Travis Etienne video, but he's neck and neck with a Henry Ruggs type player. And we know Henry Ruggs ran a 4.2 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine. Now, unfortunately, it looks like all indications is there won't be an NFL Combine in the traditional sense. They're going to do these regional pro days. So don't be shocked when Jaylen Waddle, if he runs, drops a 4.2 40-yard dash. He's got that type of home run ability, that type of speed, and you see it every time he plays, right? He's a threat to take the top off of a defense, and that that ability, that skill set, along with how good he is as a route runner, how good he is at creating separation, and his physicality for a player that's 5'10", 180 pounds, right? This dude runs hard. He's not like the Deshaun Jackson, Hollywood Brown types who catch the ball and then they go down. Jaylen Waddle is trying to matriculate the ball down the field. He's picking up yak. He's running through arm tackles. He's explosive. He's dynamic, and he was productive as a freshman. Now, sophomore season, production took a little bit of a dip, right? 13 games, 33 receptions, 560 yards, 6 touchdowns. And that was the season that the Alabama had Jerry Jeudy and Devonta Smith go over 1,100 receiving yards. Henry Ruggs did his thing in that season. That's what got those guys drafted in the top 20 of the 2020 NFL draft. So a little bit of a step back for Jaylen Waddle or season, but this is a case of where all I can tell you is I know there are going to be other wide receiver prospects with better counting stats for the season. There's no doubt. You're going to find wide receivers who had multiple 1,000-yard seasons. The 1,000-yard season as a freshman and a junior, and his final season 1,000 yards. That's not what you're getting from a Jaylen Waddle. You have to expand your mind. You have to think about the skill set. Look at what he does well, and think about how that will translate at the next level. And when you've got a receiver with that type of juice, with this type of versatility, all it's going to take is one team in the first round, because damn it, I mean, he's going to be drafted very, very high, to say this is a guy that we can build around. He can be an integral part of our offense. He can be a weapon for us in multiple phases of the game. So although he didn't have the production numbers that a lot of these other receivers had, he does something that very few of these receivers can do, which is play fast, not just run fast, right? A lot of receivers, there are receivers who can run fast, but they don't play fast. Jaylen Waddle can run fast, and he plays like a bolt of lightning. I mean, we've been doing this for the past 3 years. It was Andy Isabella. It was McCole Hardman. Last year was Henry Ruggs. Every year we're talking about the next type Tyreek Hill. First of all, let me just say this, and I'm guilty of it. I said it too. I said it about Henry Ruggs. I said, I've done it. I can't lie. I've done it. But we got to stop doing that, right? But if there were a player to be the next sort of Tyreek Hill light, it would be Jaylen Waddle, and not just because of the speed. Tyreek Hill made his hay early in Kansas City on special teams. We remember it, right? He was always returning punts and doing stuff in the kick return game to make you say, wow, I wish Kansas City would get him more involved in the offense. And through time, he was able to develop and turn himself into one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. But he made his hay early in the league on special teams. I believe that from day one, outside of Tyreek Hill returning punts, Jaylen Waddle will be the most dangerous punt returner in the NFL. That's how damn good he is on special teams. That's how much juice he has. He's a better wide receiver prospect than Tyreek, right? Tyreek, coming out of Oklahoma State, was a running back wide receiver hybrid. So he had to learn, how to play wide receiver. And damn, learning with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that's a hell of a tandem to learn from. But Jaylen Waddle, if we were going to use that one-of-one comp, because Tyreek Hill is one of one, Jaylen Waddle probably is the closest thing that we've seen to a player like Tyreek Hill, which leads me to his 2020 season. This is the opportunity for him. This was the opportunity for Jaylen Waddle to step up to say, damn it, I'm the man. I'm the guy. Jerry's gone. Henry's gone. They're counting us out. It's just me and Devontae and Mac Jones, and I'm gonna be that dude this season in 2020. And damn it, he was. I mean, Devonta Smith's season: 117 receptions, 1,856 yards, 23 touchdowns, 237 punt return yards, and a touchdown on the punt return. I mean, it's the Heisman Trophy winner, SEC Player of the Year, the Maxwell Player of the Year. Jaylen Waddle would have pushed that. They probably would have cannibalized votes from one another had he not been injured. And Mac Jones ends up winning the Heisman Trophy, or whoever the hell second was. Was it Lawrence? Was it Jones? I don't remember. But Jaylen Waddle was on that type trajectory in this 2020 season, right? 6 games played. Really like 4. He played in 6, but it was really like 4 games played, right? 28 receptions. So let's say 4 games. 28 receptions, 591 yards, averaging 21.1 yards a reception, 4 TDs. Now let's go through these 6 games that he played, okay? Missouri, 8 for 134 and 2, first game of the season. Second game versus Texas A&M, 5 for 142 and 1. Third game versus Mississippi, 6 for 120. His fourth game versus Georgia, 6 for 161 and 1. In that fifth game that he played in, he was hurt on the opening kick return, no counting stats on the receiving category. And then that sixth game that he played in was the national championship game versus Ohio State. How he played in that game is still beyond me. He snapped his damn ankle in October. The thing was flipping around like this, and somehow 3.5 months later, not even 3.5 months, he's back on the field versus Ohio State. How? Why? How? How did he? What the? Yo! Crazy, right? Wolverine adamantium type bones in his body for him to be able to return from that injury to come back and play. That just makes no damn sense. It makes no sense why he was out there, but it doesn't make sense how his body was able to recover that quick to play and actually look fast, even though he was limping around like a wounded duck, right? I mean, just insane. So in the 4 games that he played, he had no less than 5 receptions, no fewer than 120 yards, and he averaged like 20-something yards of reception. Ridiculous production for Jaylen Waddle. He's insane. As an opportunity to play as the guy, he did that and then some. He was 3rd in the country in yards per route run, and he was only behind his teammate Devonta Smith and some other wide receiver, right? So good. 68% of his snaps did come from the slot. So when you're talking about how he projects at the next level, it's probably going to be a dangerous, explosive slot receiver, and that really doesn't matter. Godwin, Juju, Tyler Boyd, we can go, the list goes on. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, they all play in the damn slot. I don't care. Justin Jefferson was playing in the slot at LSU. He's been able to thrive on the outside. Don't care about that. But 68% of his snaps did come from the slot in 2020. This just blows my mind. In 4 games, 495 yards from the slot, which was 15th in the country in only 4 games. So as a slot receiver, he was top 15 in the country, and he only played in 4 games where other wide receivers played in 11, 12, 13 games in 2020. He was still top 15 in the country. There were only 2 wide receivers in the nation who averaged more than 4 yards per route run from the slot in 2020. Only 2 guys in the whole entire country that averaged more than 4 yards per route run in the entire country from the slot. Devonta Smith and Jaylen Waddle. In both of those guys, not only did they average 4 yards per route run, they were in the 5s. Devonta Smith, 5.64. Jaylen Waddle, 5.38 yards per route run from the slot in the country. Insane. And for those of you who don't understand yards per route run, if you're running routes down the damn field, that's producing fantasy points. You're getting the ball down the field. Like, that's insane. There were only 2 players to even hit 4, and those guys, not only did they hit 4, they exceeded it to 5 yards per route run, and they were on the same damn team. They're not running these just smoke screens, bubble screens. They are getting down the field, and that's what we want wide receivers to move down the field and score us points in fantasy. 0 drops, doesn't drop the ball, sure-handed, he's fantastic. So we talked about him from the slot, a little bit outside, but let's talk about going downfield. Can he stretch the field vertically? Does he use his speed to make plays down the field? So according to PFF, and these numbers are based on targets 20 yards or more down the field, no wide receiver in college football in 2020 exceeded 38 deep ball targets, okay? So these numbers that I ran are wide receivers that at least had 20% of that 38 target total for the entire country. Waddle was 12th with 329 yards and deep ball yards in playing 4 games. Top 12 in the country, and he played in 4 games. Yards accumulated with balls thrown down the field, 20 plus yards. How? How? He played 4 games because he's fucking good. That's how he did it. The speed translates to production on the field. He is ridiculous, folks. There's nothing to fear. What are the pros when you're talking about Jaylen Waddle? Acceleration, speed, versatility, physicality. That's what he brings to the table. The fact that he even took his leg that was broken and mangled and was able to show up on the biggest stage in the final game of the season, that's a tough ass dude, man. To be able to do that, you got to be a tough SOB, and Jaylen Waddle did that, and he caught 3 passes in that game and looked explosive until he started limping on the sidelines, right? He's an exceptional athlete, and the fact that he gives you production in the return game, he's going to find a way on the field early, he's going to be able to do that. So when you're talking about speed and acceleration, it's not just the raw speed, it's not just the raw acceleration, it's how it translates to the field. And Jaylen Waddle is probably It's him, Rondale Moore for the most explosive wide receivers in this 2021 NFL draft class. And he's physical, right? You see him fighting for yards. You see some of these plays where he's running through arm tackles. He's not going down. He doesn't shy away from contact. He's a smart player. He's a tough player. He's a physical player. He's a special talent at the wide receiver position. Some of the cons, right? Some of his weaknesses, I think the main one, right, is he was just never the guy. This 2020 season was the year for him to be the guy, and he operated like that for 4 games, but we have not seen that consistently. When LSU was rolling 3 defenders, two safeties over top of Devonta Smith, man coverage from the cornerback. They're putting a linebacker in shadow coverage. They've got a defensive back manned up and a safety over top. We saw Devonta Smith beat double, triple, single teams. We didn't really get a chance to see Jaylen Waddle do that. So when you're talking about the cons, he was never the guy. And then are there any lingering effects from that ankle injury? If I had to guess in my non-medical opinion, the fact that he played in the championship game, I'd say no, right? He was able to play, so he should be fine by the time the NFL season rolls around. I say all of that to say there aren't many weaknesses to Jaylen Waddle's game. So where does he fit? What teams would I think he would thrive? I think the Washington football team in the first round is a compliment to Terry McLaurin. I think that'd be a home run landing spot for a player like Jaylen Waddle. Get some juice, add some speed to that offense, add another dimension. He'd be their return man from day one. He'd step into that wide receiver 2 role. You pair him with possibly a Matt Stafford. Do they trade for another quarterback? Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas, what they have in the backfield with Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick. Right away, that offense is significantly better than it was last year if you add a player like Jaylen Waddle. What about the Los Angeles Chargers getting Justin Herbert some more weapons on offense? You've got Keenan Allen, you have Hunter Henry and Austin Eckler, but is Mike Williams, do they re-sign him? I know he's a free agent. Are they going to bring him back? After that, are they really confident in building around a Jalen Guyton or Tyron Johnson? I'd say no. So I think the Los Angeles Chargers would also be a fantastic spot for a player like Jaylen Waddle. And you got to talk to Miami Dolphins. They need juice. They need speed. All they got is big, slow Devontae Parker, slower version of Preston Williams, who's coming off another injury. Mike Gesicki, and Tua has nobody else to throw to. So you pair Tua back up with his college teammate, man, that'd be awesome. If they pass on a Devonta Smith at 3, they can take maybe Jaylen Waddle's there at 18. Maybe. I don't think he's going to fall that far, but there's a chance that he's there at 18. So my team fits for him. And honestly, a player like Jaylen Waddle, he can go wherever and still be successful. But I think the Washington football team, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Miami Dolphins make a ton of sense. Now, who is my comparison for Jaylen Waddle? And I talked about Tyreek Hill, but no, that is not my comp for Jaylen Waddle. I think Jaylen Waddle really reminds me of Santana Moss, the former Miami Hurricane wide receiver, and he played for, at the time, the Washington football team, the former name. I'm not going to say their former name, but played for that team. Santana Moss was ridiculous, right? 5'10", 181 pounds, right there in line with Jaylen Waddle. 4.3, 140-yard dash, 42-inch vertical jump. That's probably going to be close to what Jaylen Waddle would or will run if he participates in a pro day. That type of speed. Santana Moss had multiple 1,000-yard seasons in his NFL career, derailed a little bit by injury, but I can see Jaylen Waddle being that type of player at the next level. A very, 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 very talented, very, very successful NFL pro. Not concerned about the production, not concerned about the fact that he was never the sole guy. We see the talent, you see the juice. We went through the pros. The cons are very few. Draft Jaylen Waddle with confidence and be excited if your NFL team lands this special, special player. Jaylen Waddle is dope, man. So I hope you guys appreciated this episode, this 2021 rookie prospect profile. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button, baby. Just smash it. Hit the subscribe button, turn the alerts on. And if you want more content from me over at Destination Devy, make sure you join the squad. Patreon.com/allgas, exclusive access to me, backstage shows, film sessions, rankings, talking bets, this, that, all kinds of good stuff, man. But hope y'all enjoy the week. We'll be back with more content later on. I'm out of this thing. Peace.